In previous video, we discussed some literary critics that were important from exams point of view. And in today's video, we will take a look of most repeated MCQs from T.S. Eliot's contribution to English literature. T.S. Eliot was a poet, playwright, literary critic, essayist, and editor. So from exams point of view, he is very important figure because he had significant contributions specifically to criticism and as a poet. Let's see him as a literary critic. He published many literary works, out of which the second wood is most important. It is collection of his famous essays, and these essays were about nature of poetry, function of criticism, and various other subjects. Like he discussed different literary figures like Shakespeare and Dante. Hamlet and His Problems, 1919. And if you remember, this is the same essay in which he used the term objective correlative. The Metaphysical Poets, in this he talked about John Donne, George Herbert, and Andrew Marvell, and these all are metaphysical poets. Next, the function of criticism, and this essay is included in his book The Sacred Wood. Now, there are some facts about his life, and all below mentioned MCQs are from past papers. So, the initials TS in his name stands for Thomas Stearns. Here is a list of his important works. He was born in 1818 in the US. His magnum opus, or his most famous work, The Waste Land, this is a poem which is further divided into 5 sections. Here are the names of those 5 sections. And the second important poem is the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. This poem gives you the depiction of modern man. He gave us the psychological insights of post-war men. He received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1948. And there is a line in Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Now there was a question that with which thing he measures his life. So he measures it with coffee spoons. Murder in the Cathedral is a historical play, and it is based on the assassination of Thomas Becket. His another important poem is The Hollow Man, and it is included in his collection of poems. The Criterion is a magazine in which he was mainly publishing his critical essays, and the Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, as I told you earlier, that this is a satire on the traditional love poetry, because as the name indicates, the love song, it is not actually a love song, rather it is a satire on it. April is the cruelest month. This is the opening line of The Waste Land. Ash Wednesday is a religious poem, and it tells about his conversion to Christianity. The Cocktail Party is a famous modern play by T.S. Eliot, and it was inspired by the Bash, which is an ancient Greek tragedy. Four Quartets is another lengthy poem of Eliot, and it explores his spiritual journey, as the prelude explores the spiritual journey of William Wordsworth. Likewise, the Four Quartets is considered the spiritual journey. Now, Tiresias is an important character. It appeared in The Wasteland also. Eliot uses him as a narrator of his stories. The function of criticism, we discussed it earlier, that it explores the relationship between literature and the criticism. It actually talks about the significance of criticism, like what important role does literary criticism plays. His poem Marina is influenced by Homer's work. We are the hollow man, we are the stuff man. These are the opening lines of the poem Hollow Man. His play Family Reunion is based on Greek tragedy Agamemnon, and you may have noticed that his works are influenced by the poetry of Homer. or you can say the other Greek models or classics. As I said that Wasteland comprises of 5 sections, so it is third section, the fire sermon, and it emphasizes on the teachings of Lord Buddha. His criticism was influenced by Freud's theories or ideas. What the Thunder said is another section in the Wasteland, and it contains a line from the Hindu text. The confidential clerk explores the theme of family relationships. Objective correlative means to correlate all the objects to evoke a particular emotion in the reader or audience. Love song of J. Alfred Prufrock is considered the precursor to modern society, means it laid the strong foundations for modern poetry. As I told that this poem gives you the psychological insight into the human mind, and it gives you the clear depiction of modern man. Murder in the Cathedral is set in the Canterbury Cathedral. The setting of the play was Canterbury, and he dedicated the Wasteland to Ezra Pound. This have been already discussed that Four Quatrains is a religious poem, and this discuss his interest in Christianity. Wasteland is a response or a reaction to the disillusionments of the World War I. As it was post-war poem, it was published after World War I, so it talks about the trauma, agony, miseries, or the conditions of human beings after World War. First we discuss the opening lines of the Hollow Man, and here are the ending lines or the concluding lines of the poem. This is the way the word ends, not with a bang but a whimper. I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. This is the exact line from the text that we were discussing above. No, I am not Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. And this is a line from the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Prufrock was saying this line that I am not a Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. Likewise, these all are lines from his famous works. I am not going to read them one by one, just give them a look. The journey referred to in Prufrock is a mental voyage. I already told you that this is a psychological poem. It gives you the psychological aspects of human nature. Epigraph, is a phrase, quotation, or any kind of text that is set at the beginning of a work in which writer or author tells something about his work. So the epigraph in this particular case is taken from Dante's Inferno. We read in above mentioned lines that the last section of the Wasteland, What the Thunder Said, contains a line or a text from Hinduism. Here it is, the point number 28. So what were the actual lines or the actual text? This is the text. And what does it mean? It means to give, be compassionate, and practice self-control. Actually, Eliot is trying to give us the message that all the people must follow these 3 concepts to achieve inner peace. Okay, that was all for today. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. Next video would be on past papers from linguistics that will specifically cover phonetics, phonology, and morphology.